Coinbase is going offline on the very day that an XRP ETF decision was to be expected. Now, this is the same day that XRP's fate was supposed to be decided. Is it a coincidence? Well, I nearly dropped my phone when I found out. Coinbase scheduling a 4-hour outage, right when the SEC was supposed to rule on an XRP ETF. Something is feeling a little off, and I had to get to the bottom of it. So, I was doom scrolling on X when I saw a post from an XRP analyst called ChartNerd. Now, his tweet practically yelled, XRP ETF decisions are due on October 25th. So, Coinbase will be down 4 hours on the very same day. Coincidence? I think not. Now, that one got the XRP community's attention real quick. Are we actually talking mere bad timing here? Or is there a secret plan unfolding behind closed doors? Well, I decided to find out, and the journey took me down one wild rabbit hole. First, the facts. Coinbase announced that it will start a system maintenance on October 25th at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and that it's going to last for about 4 hours. Now, in plain English, that means that for those 4 hours, most, or at least almost, everything on Coinbase will be at a standstill. Now, during the maintenance window, all trading, transfers, staking, and even credit card transactions are suspended. Now, you can still log in and you can look at your account, but you can't do much else. Most functions will be paused. Now, even Coinbase's futures and derivatives platform is having an outage overlap from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. PT that day. So their advanced trading will also be unavailable. Basically, one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the United States is hitting the pause button during prime trading hours. Now, if some huge XRP news were to drop that morning, well, Coinbase users would be stuck on the sidelines unable to trade. So let's just think about that. If an XRP ETF got approved, or some market-moving kind of announcement happened, well, Coinbase people would just be left watching the price charts without being able to do a single thing about it. No buys, no sells, absolutely nothing. It's the kind of scenario that gives crypto traders nightmares. So, why October 25th is such a big deal in the first place? Well, let's just rewind a little bit. Right, this month, late October, was supposed to be the kind of decision time on a whole bunch of proposed XRP ETFs. Several major players had filings awaiting the SEC approval around that week. Now, we're talking big names investment firms. Grayscale had a date of around October 18th. 21 Shares was October 19th, Bitwise was October 22nd, CoinShares and Canary Capital October 23rd, and WisdomTree October 24th. Essentially, by the time that we hit October 25th, many in the XRP community expected to hear whether any of these spot XRP ETFs got the green light. At least it was kind of circled, I guess, in many of our calendars as a potential game-changing week. But here is where things get a little bit twisty, right? It turns out that those anticipated SEC deadlines might not be as firm as we all initially thought. In fact, an industry commentator, shout out to the reporter Eleanor Terrett, pointed out that the SEC basically reset the clock on these applications. Apparently, the SEC asked all of the issuers of these XRP and other altcoin ETFs to withdraw their old exchange rule change requests, the 19B-4 forms, and go a different route. In simpler terms, those original October deadlines became invalid. Now, the timeline we were all hyped for, was about kind of just evaporating overnight. So, officially, there might not even be a yes or a no decision on an XRP ETF dropping on October 25th after all. Now, when I learned that, my first thought was, maybe Coinbase's maintenance really was just a random timing. Maybe we all just got excited over absolutely nothing. But just a coincidence of maybe the calendar. And to be honest, I kind of felt a little bit deflated. Right? I was all geared up for a possible kind of big announcement, and now the can got kicked all the way back down the road. But wait. The plot here thickens. Just as I thought I was ready to kind of call this whole thing a false alarm, I noticed something else happening behind the scenes. Those ETF issuers didn't just sit around after being told to withdraw reform. They actually started quietly updating their filings with actual ticker symbols just last week. Now that's usually one of the final steps that you take when you're actually preparing to launch an ETF. For example, Grayscale has reserved the ticker GXRP for their prospective XRP fund. Franklin Templeton has picked XRPZ, and Canary Capital snagged XRPC, right? When these companies, they start reserving their ticker names, it's just like setting out plates at the dinner table. It signals that the dinner, or in this particular case, the trading, is on its way once the regulators say grace. Now, in essence, these firms are getting ready to go as soon as they get the nod from the SEC. Now, that got my wheels turning again. Right? If these big players are confident enough to kind of prep tickers and all, well, they must sense an approval that could be sooner rather than later. Maybe the SEC asked for a kind of, procedural reset, but it doesn't mean that they're actually slamming on the brakes. It might just be a different route to the same destination. So, while October 25th might no longer be the make or break day on paper, the truth is that an XRP ETF could still go live at virtually any time in the very near future, once the SEC's paperwork is in order. Now, there is another wrinkle here. Right, the US government shutdown situation. Now, at the time that I'm making this video, the government has been dealing with a partial shutdown, which means that the SEC is operating at limited capacity. Some of the normal processes, like finalizing registrations or approvals, they are delayed until the government is fully funded and back to business. So even if, let's say, the SEC chair wanted to approve an XRP ETF tomorrow, that might not be possible until the broader government issue is resolved. Frustrating, I know, right? It's kind of like having everything ready for a party, but the venue's door is locked. Still, with all of these clues, the coordinated filing updates, Coinbase's oddly timed outage, you can see why people are feeling a little bit conspiratorial, right? It has definitely fueled speculation that something big is being prepped in the background. So let's think about it this way. Coinbase might be using the downtime to upgrade their systems, maybe even to handle an influx of XRP trading if an XRP ETF launches soon. They haven't said that outage, of course, but, the timing has a lot of people raising their eyebrows. It sounds like a crypto thriller plot, I know. Yet sometimes our space really does work like this. Big moves happen quietly, and then, all of a sudden, all at once. And it's not like Coinbase has no stake in the game. They actually listed XRP for trading in the United States after Ripple's partial legal victory against the SEC. Now, Coinbase is the largest American crypto exchange, and it's one of the key places that you would expect any approved XRP ETF to connect with the market, either through custody, trading, or just the general surge of interest. Now, if XRP is about to get a tsunami of investment through an ETF, Coinbase would want to be ready for that kind of volume. So yeah, upgrading their infrastructure ahead of time isn't a crazy idea at all. Now, this might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses. And this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, back to the story. Whether Coinbase's timing is a master plan or just pure coincidence, this whole saga got me thinking about something much more down to earth. What if your go-to exchange goes down at a critical moment? Because even if there's zero conspiracy here, Coinbase will indeed be offline for a chunk of time. And that means if XRP suddenly moons or crashes during that window, well, too bad if Coinbase is your only exchange. Now, it's a stark reminder that putting all of your eggs in one basket, right? Or all of your crypto onto one exchange can burn you. Now, I've always been a believer in having backup plans for trading. I mean, I obsess over this. I sign up to multiple exchanges, complete the KYC when required, and even test them out with small trades. Why? Because you never know when you're going to need an alternative. Now, exchanges, they can get overloaded or even shut down temporarily, just like Coinbase is doing here. Now, sometimes they halt withdrawals due to maintenance or traffic issues, and you, I should say, don't want to be scrambling in those particular moments when you need it the most. So I make sure that I have Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C when it comes to my trading platforms. It's kind of like having multiple exit routes in a building, right? If one door is jammed, you know to find another way out. For example, aside from Coinbase, I also use other exchanges like Kraken, LBank, BitGet, and Blowfin. And full disclosure, of course, I do have affiliate links for those exchanges. And if you do use those links, it does help support the channel here at no extra cost to yourself. There's a link in the description to my website, which is linked in the description, as I said. In fact, I've got a whole list on my own website here with all of the exchanges that I personally use and trust, each with an affiliate link. Now, feel free to check that out if you are looking to diversify your exchange options. Now, I only recommend exchanges that I have tried myself. And honestly, this strategy of spreading out accounts has saved my bacon more than once. So when one exchange goes down or does something a bit wonky, I can jump to another one and keep on trading. Because you just never know when Plan A might falter, so you have to have a Plan B and Plan C ready to go. Now, about that conspiratorial kind of buzz in the community, let me tell you, right, the XRP army, it wastes no time. Now, my free educational Discord server was absolutely lit with chatter about this Coinbase XRP scenario as soon as it hit the news. And yes, I plug the Discord because it is a great place to learn and swap ideas. The link is in the description and you can come and join us if you want to. Now, some people in there were jokingly dusting off their kind of tinfoil hats, saying stuff like maybe someone at Coinbase knows something that we don't. It was half joking, half serious, which honestly kind of sums up a lot of the crypto speculation. But it's all in good fun and learning. Now, I love that we have a community that jumps on these curiosities. We analyze them from every single angle, and we try to separate fact from hype together. So here is kind of where I land on this whole Coinbase XRP coincidence, or clue, kind of saga. Now, it might ultimately be nothing, right? Just a quirky scheduling overlap that gave us a week's worth of excitement. But on the other hand, it could also be a subtle sign of bigger things that are brewing for XRP, right? Either way, I'm glad that it kind of caught my attention because now I feel like I'm more prepared and more aware. I double check my backup plans, I stayed on top of the ETF news, and I had a great discussion with all of you guys about it. In a way, it already kind of paid off in knowledge and in readiness. So as October 25th approaches, I'm going to be watching it like a hawk. Maybe we'll all kind of wake up to a surprise SEC announcement and Coinbase flipping the switch back on just in time for an XRP frenzy. Or maybe it'll be a total kind of non-event, a nothing burger, right? Coinbase will just do its maintenance, XRP trades flat, and we'll all just go about our days. Heck, maybe I'll just make myself a stack of pancakes that morning if nothing happens, right? Either scenario, of course, I'm going to be cool with it because if nothing else, this little saga reinforces a golden rule. You should expect the unexpected in crypto, and when you expect the unexpected, you're less likely to be caught off guard. So, what do you think? Was this all a big nothing burger, or are we on the cusp of something huge for XRP? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Are you, at least as you know, we'll be discussing more of this in the Discord and of course in the comments, so do feel free to join us there. One thing is for sure though, right, is that I'm going to be ready for whatever comes next. If you found this useful, informative, maybe just a little bit enlightening, you can feel free to smash that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. I'll catch you all in the next one.